Could somebody making $65,000 a year actually build wealth? Well, today I'm going to try to answer that for you by giving you examples from my own life that have been working for me so far. And hopefully you can learn a thing or two about it. So I'm going to break this down into 3 steps for you guys to try to learn from. If you're new to the channel, my name is Zane, and I've been involved in personal finance and investing for the last probably 2-ish years consistently. Now, over the past 8 years roughly, I have dabbled in, crypto trading, IPOs, you name it, anything that sounded like it can make a quick buck. I was there, and I learned plenty of lessons early on from that, from the launch of Lucid, and thinking that once the IPO launched and I made all the money, that money was going to be there forever. I quickly learned that was not the case, and I lost plenty. And those are some of the stories that I want to be able to share with you guys, because today, most people making a modest salary think that they're going to fall way behind when it comes to building wealth. But I have learned over the past 2 years that that's not necessarily true. And I would like to share 3 steps during this process to sort of give you guys a glimpse of hope that it's not all doom and gloom, and that even if you're making $65,000 a year, you can do it. Before I begin, just want to be clear that I am not a financial advisor by any means. I am just somebody on the internet sharing my experiences and what has worked for me thus far. So hopefully by me sharing a little bit about myself, you're able to learn a thing or two and apply it in your life maybe, and see if it works for you. Again, these are just personal experiences that I think can be valuable lessons and help save you time in your journey. The first step I want to dive into with you guys is knowing your expense to income ratio. This can be done through budgeting. I know, everybody's least favorite thing to do, but at the end of the day, it is super helpful, because in order to get you on the path to building wealth, I think that first step is going to be knowing what comes in every month and what's going out. If you don't have a track, any type of log on what is going out on a monthly basis, it's going to be hard for you to set money aside to actually invest and begin building that wealth. So some of the things that I like to do is write down all of my existing subscriptions. I call them fixed expenses, because those are what's going to be withdrawn from my account every single month like clockwork. It doesn't wait for anybody, and these don't necessarily mean personal subscriptions like to Spotify or to a video game service. This can be anything from your car insurance, your apartment insurance, or homeowner's insurance. It can be credit card bills. It can be money that you set aside for groceries. It doesn't matter what it is. It just needs to be accounted for, so that way when you're taking a look at the bigger picture of your expense ratio, you know what is coming in and what is coming out. Step 2 to building wealth is going to be simplifying your portfolio. If you already have one existing, that's great. You're on the right path. However, maybe take a second look at it. Is there too many moving parts? Is there too many, maybe this will be the next $1 million Bitcoin? Things like that, speculation, they're just really hard to keep track of. So when it comes to it and making your life a lot simpler and actually just kind of earning a guaranteed safe bet, I shouldn't say that, because actually nothing in the market is guaranteed. However, there are some bets that are a lot safer than others, and I'm talking specifically about the S&P 500. As I shared in the intro, I spent a lot of my early years of investing trying to buy the next cryptocurrency that was going to skyrocket like Bitcoin, because I missed out on the hype. I tried to purchase the next Tesla because, again, I missed out on the hype. And if you're constantly chasing that next hype point in the investment world, you're going to be left high and dry. We see it countless times over and over. You name it, your favorite person that you've ever watched maybe fell prey to it as well and shared their experience. It's for a valuable reason, and that reason is nobody can predict what the next big thing is going to be, and nobody can beat the market just by playing it. You have to spend time in it, and you have to do the boring stuff to see the positive results. And again, this is just from personal experience, not financial advice on what to purchase, but the S&P continues to outperform most portfolios from even experienced investors at an average rate of anywhere from 8 to 10% if you're purchasing something like a ETF that is following the S&P 500. Personally, I follow VTI and VOO. I think those are two simple ones to sort of get your foot in the door. Obviously, do your research on these two index funds. However, they're a great starting point to simplifying your portfolio while remaining diversified and continuing to earn a pretty stable interest over time that continues to compound with time. The third and final step I want to share with you guys is treating your investments like a necessary expense. Look at it like rent. If you want a roof over your head, you've got to pay that monthly rent bill. You have to pay the utility bill if you want your lights on. You have to pay the gas bill if you want warm water and a stove to cook on. It's the foundation to setting you up for long-term success. None of this, unfortunately, is going to happen overnight, and I'm sorry if that's what you were looking to hear. It's just the reality of things. Again, I'm not a financial guru, and I wish I can snap my fingers and make money appear, but that's just not the world that we live in, and a lot of the hard work that you'll realize over time takes exactly that, time. Without time, you're not going to see the results of true wealth building. And it's a hard lesson to learn initially because we compare ourselves to what we see online. And what we see online is that person next door getting $1 million home, buying a new yacht, getting a new RV, whatever it may be that you're wanting to emulate in your life. It's taken away from that future of wealth that you can be building that may afford you those luxuries down the line. So again, without the consistent flow of investments like your rent bill, like your gas bill, like your utilities, you're going to be missing out on what a future of compounded interest can be. Because again, you can't time the market, you can't beat the market, but you can spend time in the market and see those gains continue to multiply over time. It's a wonderful thing, and especially from somebody making $65,000 a year, a modest salary, which is, it's not pennies, and it's a great modest living that most people can make a fine living off of. It's just discipline, and that discipline starts with treating this like a necessary expense. I can't share enough about how much this has saved me over the past few months. Despite all of the expenses I had going on in my life, the one thing that I made sure continued to get withdrawn from my account was my investment money into my Roth IRA, into my HSA, and into my 401k. Yes, I get a smaller paycheck every single month, but it's worth it to get that employer match and to make sure that my money is working for my future. Because again, nobody else is going to do this for you. And if this is that subtle reminder to make sure that you stay motivated, please, by all means, listen to this, remain motivated, and you will see wonderful results, hopefully, down the line. I am no financial expert. However, I'm an expert on doing the best but with what I have. The means that I have is my current salary and any side hustle that I may try to dive into, and I can share more about that on another video if there's plenty of interest. I'll probably share about it anyway, just so that it's out there for you guys to listen to and to learn from, because again, all of this is just lessons from my life that I hope to share, and hope that you learn something from it, and that it shaves the 6 years that it took me to learn along this journey. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for listening and, hopefully learning something from this. And again, I'm always here to share personal stories from my life if it makes yours any bit better than what I experienced early on. Because again, I want us all to be set up for success, and it's very doable if you have even just a modest salary like myself, $65,000 a year. You can do it, and together we'll continue building wealth along this journey. So thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.